Hi there, I'm Zoot Java. Today I'd like to talk about the phenomenon that is Donald Trump. I bring this up as he's reached the highest approval ever by the aggregate. It has to be nothing short of a phenomenon because he has nothing but negative press who constantly rip him to shreds every time you turn on a news channel. This is quite amusing as Democrats and leftists constantly refer to him as, in their words, literally Hitler. If he was literally Hitler, he would have taken over every media source in the country and constantly ran nothing but praise for himself in the way that Hitler did. But if you sit back and examine it, you'd think that he did, without actually doing it the strong-arm way that Hitler did. He simply saw a media that hated him and played them for suckers. They're either too stupid to realize it, or else they've found that it's very lucrative for them clickbait-wise to trash him non-stop and fire up the Dem leftist core. The problem is that the media, in their all-out hate fest against Trump, have made themselves into cheap tabloid rags. This has also gone and fired up the Trump fans and basically done constant campaigning on his behalf. David Wright of ABC News got caught in a Project Veritas video for simply stating the truth, that they aren't reporting the news, but they're pushing a narrative. For this, he got suspended and taken off of the political reporting when he returns. Rather childish of his employer, especially when Wright stated that he himself was a socialist. This would have given some credibility to the reporting done by him pointing out Trump's good and bad points, but the company wants it all negative apparently. These media companies had better hope that Trump gets elected again so that they can just get in their conga line chanting, Russia, 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 Orange Man bad. The same with these late night shows. They really better hope that Trump gets reelected too, or they might actually have to do something. I don't mind watching a late night show where the host makes the odd joke about the president, but telling the same yawn fest of the three boring jokes non-stop wears really thin. Jimmy Kimmel, Trevor Noah, and the rest of them will see what it's like to actually have to work for a living if Trump actually doesn't get elected again. I think they'll all have secret meetings where they pray to the gods of low-hanging fruit that Trump gets 4 more years. The Democrats have made even bigger fools of themselves with all the infighting and bizarre accusations that they've virtually secured Trump a landslide victory. Watch their debates. It looks like a food fight in a geriatric hospital. It's hilarious that Trump got elected in 2016 by almost taking a former Democratic platform and stuffing political correctness into the garbage, as people have had enough of that crap. And with Hillary being a complete disaster, she shot herself in the face, figuratively speaking, and blamed every person right down to probably the little Carol Burnett cartoon lady mopping the floor for the reason that she lost. One thing I constantly hear from people about Trump is that he doesn't act presidential. He's an embarrassment as a representative of the country to other nations. Well, that's not entirely true. A lot of countries respect him because they know he isn't talking in circles and they know where they stand with him, even if it is a little intimidating. When I was very young here in Canada, but not voting age, we were at least talking about politicians. I happened to like a man running for prime minister at the time by the name of Joe Clark. When I spoke to others about liking him, they would say to me, no way I'd ever vote for him. I'd ask them why, and on more than one occasion, the reply I got was that, and I'm quoting this, he's boring. Yes, he's boring. I said to them, I don't want him at my house for a party with a lampshade on his head. I want him to run the country and finish what he set out to do. Because of him, I've got this attitude of looking at politicians. Sure, it's great if they're nice people, but ultimately, I don't care if they're miserable. I want the country run properly. That's why when Trump announced he'd run for office and people were freaking out about him and his personality, I just said, who cares? As long as he does everything he can to fulfill his promises, he's the one for the job. Anyway, now for the part that you've all been waiting for, my bad joke. A congressman just became the subject of an investigation because he saved up $2 million in 4 years. They want to know why it took him so long. Anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications of more of my words of wisdom. Also, share my content on all your social media because it somehow gets quelled by all the usual suspects. Until later, have a Java on Zoot.